Heya and welcome to my channel. So today's video is just going to be me and Brandon going over our thoughts on the Relic weapon as we know it as of today. And so this means it's going to include all hot fixes, the Bozjan Southern Front, Castrum Lacus Littori, Diable Armors, Delubrum, Lajane Savage, and honestly, we're going to be as honest and upfront as possible, as always on this channel. So this video is the first video where we're going to be fixated on the weapons and we're not going to be talking about armor here at all. That's going to actually be a second video released tomorrow. So if you actually want to hear about Delubrum, Lajane Savage and our thoughts on that, that is in part 2. Just to clear the air on why I'm saying that is the weapons actually don't need you to enter Delubrum, Lajane Savage, so don't worry about that, that's part 2. So a little bit of background on Brendan. So he is a Mythic World of Warcraft raider who has recently taken the plunge into Final Fantasy XIV with me, and this is his very first Relic weapon, and he's completed it now on White Mage, and is just around on the corner on fully completing his Red Mage weapon. So I honestly figured that it would be nice to get the perspectives of both me, as someone who has reflected on Relics as ARF until you barf during Heaven's Ward, a chemical research facility, Atmas, and books in A Realm Reborn or Eureka Last Expansion. And then you're also going to get the perspective of someone who is much more fresh to the Relic weapon line, just for a more fully fleshed out opinion piece. So just a super quick plug here, if you enjoyed this video and want to help support me and my content, I'd be super duper incredibly superlicious appreciative if you dropped a Relic weapon on that like button and Delubrum Lajanade that subscribe button. And Cat Daddy that subscribe button. So as of today, we have the following steps to the Relic weapon, just as a quick context refresher for everyone, and there are timestamps to this video, so if this is all review to you, skip on ahead, no offense taken. So the first step is obtaining 4 Thavenarian Scale Powders, which is really collecting 1,000 Poetic Tomestones for the quest Resistance is Not Futile. The second step is the quest for Want of a Memory, which involves collecting 3 types of memories either in the Bozjan Southern Front or from Fates, from Harrowing Memory of the Dying to Tortured Memory of the Dying, and lastly Sorrowful Memory of the Dying. You need in total 20 of each type of memory for a total of 60 crystals per weapon. The third step of the Relic was the Will to Resist questline, which involved getting 6 bitter memories of the dying which can be obtained in the Bozjan Southern Front or from dungeons. And in particular, I was farming Anti-Tower with Blue Mages, and I got that down to about a timer of 7 minutes per crystal. The fourth step of the Relic was Change of Arms, which involved getting 15 Loathsome Memories of the Dying, obtainable either from a Realm Reborn raids, in particular Sick of It Tower or Southern Front activities, or now Castrum Lacus Littori, where Castrum Lacus Littori gives 5, a total of 5, not just 5 per clear. I'm only emphasizing that because I did get that question a lot in my comments. So the fifth part of the Relic is the quest The Resistance Remembers, which only needs to be done once per character. Only once. And involves getting 18 Haunting Memories of the Dying and 18 Vexatious Memories of the Dying. Ooh, vexatious. These can be obtained through grinding Fates in Girabania and Far Eastern maps, and you can alternatively grind Alliance raids. In particular, I'd recommend Void Ark and the Royal City of Rabanastre myself. Sixthly, and the current final step as of this patch right now, which is gonna of course be built upon later during patch 5.5 sometime. Like, this is not the finale of the weapon, but the last step as of right now is to obtain 15 time-worn artifacts, either by spamming Delubrum Rajane normal or by spamming Palace of the Dead. So with the recap done and all of the weapon steps laid bare, let's actually get into the discussion of what our actual thoughts are. As I said before, Neymett will be going first, and then I will give my own thoughts and opinions. And likewise, there are actually going to be timestamps in this video of like what the step is and what our thoughts are, just so that if you want to like zip to like what are our thoughts on like Bitter Memories of the Dying, then you can totally skip ahead to that. And then we're going to have a last capstone section for what our overall thoughts are on Relic weapon acquisition as a whole right now. So with the recap done of all of the weapon steps, let's actually get into the discussion of what our thoughts are. As I said before, Neymett will be going first, and then I'll give my own thoughts and opinions, just to make sure that I don't taint his. So the first step of the Thavenarian Scale Powder, or the 1,000 Tomestones, what are your thoughts on that step?
Well, honestly, I thought this step was very, very easy and straightforward. I mean, almost everything in the game gives you Poetic Tombstone, so it's very accessible. The starting relics also look very cool, so I really like how you can get, you know, something that looks nice as a weapon for really almost every class in the game. And yeah, it's something that's fairly easy to do, and that's really all there is to it.
Yeah, honestly, I think that I really feel the same because to me, and I'm gonna ask you, like, I think that it's really important to be able to reward people out of the get-go, where it's just like, at least to get you foot in the door, and feeling good about something's really important. I mean, since you're new to Final Fantasy XIV, did you think that, like, that was a really good, like, way to get you started on the relic hunting? Like, just something easier?
Yeah, no, I do agree that it's good that you get something right off the bat, and then you know, it kind of motivates you to want to continue the quest, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because
exactly.
you have something and you can upgrade it and look forward to I guess the better appearance and the stats later on.
Exactly. That was my thought because honestly, by the time that you're level 80, you should have done so many things that give you poetic tomestones, at least Alliance raids, which you actually even have to do to unlock them in the first place. So I'm thinking like 1,000 poetic tomestones? My god, by the time you're there, you should at least have a you probably have spent thousands of tomestones by that point, I think. But it's like off the bat, if you go with like 2k poetic tomestone cap, it's like bam, 2 weapons, really easy. And not everyone plays all classes either.
Yeah, no, exactly. It felt really trivial to me, to be quite honest with you, because you're just getting poetics everywhere all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that would also be like the other side of my thing is I think it was really good that it was so easy to get into, but it was so easy to the point where it really didn't feel like anything. Like I remember when I was first on this step and first doing it because it was like standalone as like its own little quest chain before the Bozjan Southern Front was released at all. And I was like, this is leaving me a little unsatisfied. It's just like I blitzed through all the weapons. It was just bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, oh, is that all? Poetics are so easy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be a little bit underwhelming if you're more of a veteran player and you're looking for something that's challenging. At least, you know, at the beginning, before the Bozjan Southern Front was where it is now with the, yeah, I guess, I don't know, these are the final versions of the Relic, the 515 Relics. They definitely take a lot more work than now that they've added the additional steps.
Oh yeah, and these aren't the final relics. Like they should be adding more with patch 5.5 sometime. But yeah, I think like this step when it was released on its own definitely seemed underwhelming. But as we're gonna like recap at the end, it's like we also are gonna like look at like the relic overall. But I think this step on its own I think was fair to like get people in the door. Although for me it was just like I got all the 17 weapons so fast. I'm like, eh.
Yeah, and to be fair, given the fact that they're only, I think it's about 485 to start, I think it's fair that they're easy to get because now, I mean, crafted gear is 510, so it's
Exactly.
it's really not a huge deal.
Oh yeah, like right now, but at the time when it was first released, it was actually pretty good. 5 slots on a weapon like that, like it wasn't best in slot, but it was giving people like something that definitely got them like into the game at decent content. Like to do experts, to do like extreme trials, like you really don't need more than that, or didn't at that time.
And I mean, now I guess you probably still don't pay for anything except for maybe like Emerald Weapon.
Emerald Weapon,
So it's still a, yeah, it's still a good item.
yeah, it's still a good item. Like people are clearing savages with it. Like it's the current relic. Like it still stands on its own for sure. But we're probably getting ahead of ourselves there. Like I don't know if I don't really have anything else to say on this step though myself at least.
Yeah, same. I think we can probably move on to our next topic here.
Definitely.
The next
So,
one.
absolutely. Yeah. For the second step, it was just 20 of each type of the crystal, which I was grinding through fates for a total of 60 crystals per weapon. At least that was how I did it. What were your thoughts on that step?
Yeah, so I followed your recommendation there to just do the fates, and you know, I thought it was pretty chill. It was pretty fun. I kind of just did it casually over the course of a few days. You know, just throw on some music, go, you know, to a beautiful old zone like some of the Heavensward zones, and just grind some mobs. It's fun. I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually thought it might have been like an accidental bug or something when I was getting 100% drop rates from all the fates. I'm like, is because I remember that there was a hotfix shortly after that patch deployed, and I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna like patch over these weapons, they're gonna nerf the rate, oh no. Which I don't think was a bug exploit. That's why I'm just gonna say that, because it's like everyone was doing it, like it was just the way it was in the game, and we were just like, oh, like they just put in the drop rate really weird. I mean, for me, I was just grinding the fates just to get the weapons done, but I was like, oh no, they're hotfixing a nerf, oh god.
Yeah, I mean, getting one from every single you know, Fate definitely seems strong, but it's still that way. So it wasn't a bug; it's intended, and it's easy, and I like it.
Yeah, I think that it kind of like similar to the first one. I think like it is definitely the calm before the storm that we're gonna get into later. It was definitely like a good way to get someone's second foot into the door. It's just like, okay, you have your foot in the door, now let's get that other foot propped up in there. I think that it was pretty fair. And I mean, for me, I like got all of these crystals for all 17 weapons pretty easy. It wasn't too bad, honestly. And again, it looks really good. Actually, that's the third step that it changes since the glowing. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, the other thing I like about it is, I guess, the fact that, you know, you can, if you have characters around like the level of the Fates, you can just switch to those and do some leveling too. So at least you're getting something else at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shoot, actually, that's a really good point. I think that with any relic weapon, even past, present, future, like it's like if you can figure out a way to do the grind of the relic and something else, you should go for it. Like we are going to talk about like Palace of the Dead to also get like the last step of the relic right now. It's like if you can combine leveling an alt from like 1 to 50 in Palace of the Dead, and you can do the relic at the same time, like why not do that? Or if you're like trying to get like more gil, if you're trying to get more gil, why not just be doing like the weapon and like earning gil on the side? To me, it's always better to grind for multiple things than just one thing in isolation. Unfortunately for me, I've had everything at 80 from like the first month of Shadowbringers, so it's like I don't really have that option. But I think that that's actually a really solid point. Like all of these things, like if you can find a way to grind out multiple goals, like that should be the way you go. Yeah, any thoughts on that or this step? Or
You know, I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, like for some of like the later steps, for example, I was like playing my my warrior, who I have like I think like level 75
with the epic
now.
glam.
Yeah, exactly. What is it, that light steel subligar, great glam. But yeah,
Exactly.
so I was doing that, and like honestly, I've made it almost all the way to 80, and yeah, just farming relic stuff, and it's easy. So why not get something else out of it if you can?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a little jealous because I'm like, oh my god. All these people are able to multitask things and get everything up. I'm like, oh god, I'm jealous. Because for me, a lot of these steps are literally just bam, here's the relic. So it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for newer players. I'm happy, honestly, for them.
Yeah, no, exactly. I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready to move on to the third step?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So,
Okay, so 6 bitter memories, which I personally did by blasting through the anti-tower on Blue Mage, which was like 7 minutes per run. Like I have a video on this channel. Like all of these steps are outlined on my channel for anyone curious on what insanity I did. Like I practiced what I preach. And it was 7 minutes per. And yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
yeah, so I think if you have anti-tower, you should definitely do it cold. It's much faster than what I did. But yeah, so like at the time, I was grinding up metal in Bozja because I needed to get to rank 15. Because as many of you likely know, when you like later in Delibrium Regine, if you die, you lose a bunch of metal. So it's a pain to get that rank back up. So I just wanted to get the rank maxed up before I started doing that. So I just farmed a bunch of metal in Bozja, got all the way to 50, and just got all my bitter memories in there just by grinding it. But that took a long time. That took several hours, probably like 6-7 hours of grinding.
Which is
so
long.
Old right here is certainly more efficient.
But I mean, that's what we were just talking about, was like the doubling up. Like I think that's brilliant that you did that, because it's like rank 15, like once you hit a rank of metal, for anyone that like isn't like super up to date on the Bozjan content, like once you're rank 15, you can't drop levels. This isn't like Eureka where you could literally drop from like level 20 to like level 1, like theoretically, if you died over and over and over again. It's much fairer system. But I think that, like, just getting back to the point is, like, I think that you did things right. Like, it took a while, but you were going to do that grind anyhow. So why not double that?
Yeah, no, exactly. And now that I'm working on, I guess, my second relic, which is my red mage one, I'm going to shortly try out anti-tower and see how that goes.
Exactly. And actually, like, my thoughts on this actually kind of go right into there. Is it's like I think that it was refreshing to go on Blue Mage. I think that Blue Mage, a lot of people don't like Blue Mage, but I'm definitely someone that really, really likes it because it gives a fresh take. Because if I had to spam anti-tower on something like Scholar again, ew, please no, I don't want to do that again. It was too much back in the day, and it's definitely still too much today. But it was just like so refreshing as Blue Mage, especially because like that first Toad boss, which Neymett's gonna see a heck of a ton of soon. It's like you just instantly death it, just poof, and it felt so satisfying. I'm like, yeah, die evil frog, because I mean its mechanics aren't hard, but I didn't like its mechanics, so it felt so good. But yeah, ultimately, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know the frog you're talking about. I encountered a lot leveling. It's a weird looking thing. I don't like it.
The hard crowd control is just like kill it with fire. I do not like it. God. But yeah, I think that honestly this third step was also really fair. It's just like if we're talking about like getting people like into the relic weapon and that, I definitely think it's fair because it's what you need 6 memories, and at 7 per run, what's that going to be? It's 35 plus, so it's like 41 minutes. But mind you, that's ignoring Q. It's ignoring getting Blue Mage group. So it's like it was an hour. So that wasn't too bad. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, no, like an hour to complete a step on, one of these quests is for a relic is very fast. So
I mean, that's actually one thing. Actually, yeah, I should say that. Like, actually, I'll get into it in the end, but yeah, compared to like past relics, my god, way faster. Like past steps, some of those past steps would take like a week on one weapon. It was insane. Arf until you barf, Otruo Chemical Research Facility. Who's having fun yet? Oh my god, it's like, I can't wait until our Mythic Plus video. I'm really looking forward to that, but Arf until you barf definitely put that mentality in my mind of like speedrunning dungeons. It's like, I think we got Arf down to like 13 minutes, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I should shut up on this point. I'm done on this point at least. How about you, the third step?
Yeah, I think pretty much you covered everything there. Yeah, no, I can't wait to do some Mythic Plus with you too. That's something I think 14, could really use like some like hard mode 4-player dungeon content, but we can talk about that.
That should be a separate video. I've been working too hard on that video. Spoiler alert.
Exactly.
But yeah, fourth step included getting 15 loathsome memories of the dying, which can be obtained through now Castrum Lacus Latori spam, 5 at the end of it, or Sick of It Tower spam. Which I think that, like, I put it in a spreadsheet, Sick of It Tower, and people really like that. Like, people were, like, messaging me in game being like, oh my god, Sick of It Tower was in your video, you're so right. And people were like, Sick of It Tower in the comments and on Twitter, and I'm like, that caught on, Sick of It Tower. So what are your thoughts on that? 15 Sick of It Towers.
Definitely sick of that bloody tower.
Exactly.
I've done this, 15 times. Because I did it before they added the Castrum buff. So I think now, honestly, like if I was doing it again, I would probably just do, for the last step, I would have done it like you did with killing that frog. And then for this one, I would, just do Castrum and then try to like use that to give you, because it gives you a bunch of metal too. Doesn't it give you like 80k or something?
Yeah, like at rank 15, like if you die a lot in Castrum, you shouldn't feel bad. It was actually a recent addition that it did not give you metal before, but now at the end of Castrum Lacus Latori, it will give you like 80k metal at the end, but it'll also give you 100 bronze coins as well as fragments that are selling well on the market board. So like you're working towards relic armor, which just gonna say, like I said it at the start of the video, just for anyone curious, like relic armor is in its own different video because this would get way too long, weapon and armor. But like you're getting bronze coins for armor, you're working towards your weapon, you're getting gil, it's engaging content, like it's fresh new content, and I'm like, why not do that? Like I don't want to do Sick of It Tower anymore. Like I've done it how many times over the years?
Yeah, so I think at this point, if you if you need anything from Bozjan, like let's say you need some more metal, you need to increase your rank, and you have like any need to farm that, you might as well. Yeah, it's definitely preferable to do this over Circus Tower now.
At least for me, like. Oh yeah,
I
exactly.
think it might even be faster. Yeah.
In my opinion, yeah. I think it was because I've gotten all of my Castrum Lacus Latoris done. Like, I do not need to step foot in that place ever again. I have completed this step completely at this point. I just think it's a win-win-win on this step now, especially with the Castrum buffs. Like, Sick of It Tower, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually dreading it because 17 multiplied by 15. What is that, like 255? I'm not sure. Like, let me actually calculate right now. So it's 17 multiplied by 15. Yeah, that's 255 Sick of It towers. Like, I'm already thinking, as I was saying, like, I have done this so many times in the past, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, holy flying cows. I'm trying to not swear, but holy flying cows! How if there was a counter of how many times I've done like Labyrinth of the Ancients or Sick of It Tower over the years, my God, it would be like when you see those people open up like their total playtime and go, "Oh my God, where has my life gone?" That would be
it's
me.
Definitely cool. It's definitely good that they like added something in here so you don't have to do that 255. But I feel like if you died and you went to hell and you met the devil, you wouldn't be afraid of anything that he could throw at you because you could just be like, you know what? I've done Sick of It Tower 255 times.
And I've done Arf until you barf.
You can give to me. There's no torment. I'm not afraid.
Arf until you barf. Actually, maybe I should say that right now. Basically, there's a dungeon called Atherochemical Research Facility that was end of the Heaven's Ward expansion storyline dungeon, and it gave so many tomestones that we would just spam it over and over and over again until we got all the stuff for our relics in. Good God, it was just non-stop spam. Like, I remember, like, I was, like, advertising for groups and, like, trying to get, like, really good players together just so that we could get it down as low of a timer as we could. I think we got it down to, like, 11-ish minutes was my fastest. It was because, like, that last boss is multiple phases and it's like, oh my God. But I'm digressing. But yeah.
I actually did that one a couple times with like leveling characters, and I thought it was actually really fun and interesting.
Oh, it is.
I guess
it is.
I would become jaded if I probably had to run it like a few hundred times.
Yeah, so. I don't even want to know how many times I ran it. Like, it's got to be a few hundred. It was crazy. But that's how you did it back in the day for like the Heaven's Ward Relic.
For sure.
Yeah, I definitely like the fact that they did the hotfix for this step. Like, this Castrum Lacus Latoris giving 5. I think that is so healthy for the game. And I think it's good to bring players into the newer content. Because, like, spoiler alert on the next step, but it's like, I found, at least for myself, that it was like when I was being dragged into grinding older content repetitively that I've already done so many times, I was like, oh my God, I hate this. But, yeah, that's all I have to say on this step. I'm already getting into the other one. Do you have anything else on this one?
No, that's pretty much it. I just agree. I think it's always great to have more than one option. Mm-hmm. It kind of helps to break it up a bit and makes the game feel more fun and less tedious.
Absolutely agreed. Fully agreed. So let's talk about the one time. I should clarify for anyone watching, this is a one-time step for that character. I mean, if you have multiple characters, I would assume that you'd have to do it multiple times. Again, don't know, but on my one character, because I only play one character, I've only had to do this step once. You need to get 18 haunting memories of the dying and 18 vexatious memories of the dying. Ooh, vexatious. But it was... when I was doing my calculations, it was initially that Void Ark and Royal City of Rabanastre were ideal to farm it with, but I'm hearing a lot of people say that Fates are now ideal to farm it, and so you do Far Eastern maps Fates, and then you would do Gearbanian maps, so that would be like the... Oh God, the map name is escaping me now, but it would be like the Salt one, where like the Salt Druva mobs are, like the Salt Lake. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this step? This 36 memories of the torment. I don't know.
Yeah, so I followed your guide when this first came out. So I did the 18 runs of Royal City of Rabanastre and 18 runs of and it was kind of tedious, honestly. I don't know if I want to see those places again for a while.
I don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very well, yeah. And honestly, like in between, I would do Fates in those zones, and I think I got a couple from the Fates. It didn't.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't. like overwhelmingly like good. It didn't seem, you know, that good, but I guess, you know, we would have to look at that more scientifically again to see if they changed the rate, the drop rate or something.
Yeah, if I ever get more time, which God help me, I don't have much lately, but if I ever got more time, it'd be really cool to revisit that and get like some ironclad statistics, because of that. You were with me for a lot of those fates, and it was like what, 430 or something fates. Like, you helped me with the stats. Like, for anyone wondering, like, he's really good at quant. For a variety of reasons that are not for this video, but he's very, very good at stats and math. So. But oh my god, that was insane.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, but my god,
yeah.
It was insane. For this fate, at least for me, this fate exactly. A terrible fate has befallen you if you're doing this step with fates or raids. I did not like it. I did not like it. I found grinding old content was just so bad for me. It's just like, even with this last step, which I'm gonna say my views on later, it's like at least Delubrium Rajana is new content. For me, I have ran the Evyx raids and the Heavensward raids into the ground. I do not want to do them again. And so when I was literally looking at the step, and I was actually hearing a rumor, like, when I, like, anyone can check on my YouTube channel, like, I have a video saying, like, you only need to do the step one more time, because I was hearing a rumor that people were like, hey, like, we don't have like a quest icon above it saying that this is like a repeatable quest, like, it's looking like this is a one-time thing. Like, I was immediately on this, like, oh my god, I need to see now. Like, is this like a one-time thing? Because I so passionately did not like this step. And I think that it's good to keep the relic weapons at a point where there's some level of prestige with them, but I think that this step, like, if it was multiple, like, if I had to do this over and over for all of the relic weapons, I think that I'd only be getting the scholar weapon, the ranged DPS weapons, so machinist, bard, dancer, so 4. Astrologian is losing nocturnal ast, so hell no, I wouldn't be doing that for ast. White mage, you're playing that. Why? And I mean, that's a good thing that they're changing ast, because I'm not going to be playing your healers with you. But yeah, I think I'd only be doing 4 weapons. Thinking about it, like, if this was the step, like, because I did it the one time, and I did it really quick the one time, but it was like, man, no, it really, really was painful.
I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, even with it is as it currently is, I mean, I'm planning on only probably doing like 4 classes, maybe like a tank, my white mage, my red mage, and then maybe, like, I don't know, some sort of like melee DPS, like a samurai or dragoon at some point.
Oh yeah, but that's including the fact that this step that we're talking about right now is only one time. Like, how many would you do if this step you had to repeat for multiple weapons?
Well, probably just my white mage and my red mage, because those are my go-tos right now.
Okay, so I'd only do 4, and you'd only do 2. Which, yeah, I'm like, exactly. Thank God this step is only once, because, like, what really sucked, and I don't want to go on a tangent in this video about it, but it's like with the Ravenaster fates, like the Royal City of Ravenaster and the Void Ark Alliance raids, is I noticed a lot of people were just AFKing in there. Like, they weren't even, like, setting, like, a macro to, like, spam attacks or something. Like, or, like, they would literally just stand there or die, and then when they died, they'd release. It was, like, it made everything so much harder. Did you encounter that?
As well. Oh, yeah. Please, if you're listening, please don't do that.
Please don't. Please don't. It sucks so much.
Whatever, if it takes you an extra day to get your relic, just play when you have time. Don't AFK stuff.
Yeah, like, I don't care if you're the best DPS or the worst. Like, I guess, like, anyone would interpret that from my channel. Like, I'm all about the learning, I'm all about the growth and, like, fostering growth and development and stuff, and, like, I'm all for, like, newer players. But it's just like, even if you're not a really good DPS, even if you aren't the best geared, like, at least try. Like, just don't just die and hit release and then wait until we, like, are at the next boss and then, like, pour it into there, then die, then release. Like, I saw that so many times during this. I'm like, come on, it's like a 24-man instance, and now it's like only 16 people are hitting the boss one time. Oh my god, it was so bad. That was not every time, but oh my god, that was, like, if you want to talk about a morale killer, that was a morale killer. My god,
it didn't happen often, but there was a couple. long, like 35-40 minute runs with things like that. It's not fun.
Oh yeah. When you're doing a Void Arc and it's taking like 40 minutes, like something's up. And then you like look at the player count and you're like, wow, all of these Alliance window bubbles are like grayed out. And obviously I'm not naming names because they're not even on the footage, and I'm not naming names, but I mean, I don't even remember the names, but it was like so many people, and I'm like, oh my god. It didn't happen all the time, but it did happen a few times as I was grinding this out. I'm like, oh my god. But that's my thoughts on this step. Thank god it's one time.
Oh, amen to that. Amen.
Oh god. So
Not agree more, yeah.
basically I'm just like, thank god. So like, what are your thoughts on the 6th and current final step? We're probably going to get more in 5.5, but this is spamming Delibrial Rajana or Palace of the Dead.
Yeah, so I didn't do Palace of the Dead, but from what I've heard from you and also from others is that has a lower drop rate. So I just
it seems like 30%ish, yeah.
Yeah, so I just go for Delibrium Regine or Delubrium or Delibrium. I don't know.
Delibrial Rajana.
Yes. But yes, I just go there because honestly, I think that the sets that you get, the 510 like the eye level 510 armor sets that you get from there are very cool looking.
They are cool.
And they're a really nice reward, so you can work towards that. You also will get can get very like cool mounts from there, like I think it's called Gabriel Alpha. That's the new one.
Yeah, you saw me sold that for like 10 million or something, 6 million something. It was insane. Like if you want to make Gil, it's really good because it's like even with crafting, you have such an up what do you call it, like a baseline cost of reagents and stuff, and even to get started, whereas it's just like 6 million Gil, bam, into your inventory. You cannot ask for an easier drop of 6 million or 10.
Yeah,
or
one thing I
whatever
would
it was.
say though is I don't know, like every player is going to want to do the Savage version of this, but if that's something that you're interested in, perhaps make sure that you're rank 15 before you go in there. Otherwise, you'll lose a bunch of metal, and then it's going to be hard to get it back because the first couple of times you're going to die as you learn the mechanics, because it is a little bit more unforgiving than other normal content in my experience.
Yeah, the lady that like is like wriggly arms and stuff, like I don't even know what they are. Like they're just like wriggly arms, and like she changes the temperature. Like my god, I died to her so many times.
Oh, me too.
You also have to turn off effects. That's my one recommendation to anyone doing Delibrial Rational. Turn off effects. It's so freaking hard to see.
You can't see anything. It's
You
crazy.
can't see anything because it's like some of these things require you to be like, okay, here's the back of the boss. Or the boss is holding up a sword to the right or the left. It's like, good luck seeing that with effects on. Like, I can't.
Yeah, it's rough, especially with 24 people. They're all just blasted in there.
And then imagine 48 with Savage, my god. But we're not talking about Savage in this video because that's more to the armors. Like, for the weapon, you don't need to do Savage.
But yeah, so like my opinion on this overall would be like, yeah, I did like running Delibrium Regine. I do think that there are a number of rewards that you can get in addition to the weapon that make it worthwhile. And I would recommend, that people do that. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at on that one.
And I think that Palace of the Dead definitely has a place. I'm glad to see it because it's like if you're leveling something from 1 to 50, I think that Palace of the Dead is such an advantage to you because it's like you can get your alts leveled, you can experience them at a high level. Like it's just like such a win-win scenario. Or I should say 60. I should say Palace of the Dead 60. My bad, but like you can level up, you can get the Delibrial Rajane like drops. It's just like, why not do that? And I mean, it might be like if you get a really good group, Palace of the Dead might even be better. But to me, my view of this step is that it's long. It is long because we're talking about 15 multiplied by 40 minutes. So 15 multiplied by 40 is like 600 minutes. So that's like 10 hours per weapon. That's not including queue times. That's not including like bathroom breaks or anything. And that's just me assuming like your Delibrium Ration A run is going to be 40 minutes per. And sometimes it can go over depending on wipes, depending on if people use essences, depending if people don't. I've had some Delibrium Ration A like runs go like 30 minutes, but I'm just going to go with 40 here. Like 15 multiplied by 40, 600, like 10 hours just per weapon. And I mean, I definitely think that it's worth it. Like, I see myself finishing this for all the weapons, but I can say, at least, I just think that it might just be the 2021 climate. I mean, if you want to talk about, like, 2020 part 2, like, 2021 is definitely delivering on that. Like, I was hoping that that was just a meme, but it's like, even me who is like pretty hardcore into like the relic grind, like even I have had to take a step back, like, because that is a significant chunk of time for each weapon. Like, you're asking me for, what is that, so like that's 10 hours per weapon, so you're asking me for 10 multiplied by 17, sorry, I'm trying to think on the fly, 170 hours, 170 hours. And so 170 divided by 24 is going to be like a week. That's going to be a week's worth of time purely in Delibrian Rajana. And so it's like, even me as a relic hunter, it's going to take me a while, which is fine. Like, I have no issue with that. Like, it makes all of the individual weapons that much more worth having, which I think is good. But I think, like, if you have a new player, that they should maybe set their expectations a little lower, especially, like, if they have to go more casually, like I'm having to now. It's like, maybe just be like, I'm just going to do, like, one Delubrum Mercenaire run a day. And, I mean, then you'll get the relic weapon done in, what, like 2 weeks? That's not too bad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, honestly, like, unless you're like really dead set on it and you like need it right now, I wouldn't recommend.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty long. I think the best way to do it is just to do it casually over the course of a couple of weeks. I mean, that's what I did. I think it took me like 8 or 9 days for my first one. So.
Yeah. And I mean, plus you have like so much other stuff going on too. I mean, definitely out of the scope of this video, but like for anyone wondering, like, is Neymett like super hardcore? Like, no, me and him are both in the position where we're actively engaged in crazy pursuits. We'll put it that way. But
I play this for fun. I think running it, 15 times in a row would not be the most fun thing. So.
No, it wasn't. I did that. It was brutal. It was brutal. I think I hammered out like 15 runs in a day, and by the end of that day, I'm like, I can't even look at this right now. But
exactly,
I think that, like, with one thing I will say is, like, I'm glad that it's new content. Like, the difference between this step, I would prefer to do this step rather than the last step, purely because it's new content. As well as, like, we were talking about that mount that I sold for like 10 million gil or whatever. That is insane. That is really good gil. For doing content where you're doing a relic weapon, that's really good. And plus, I've heard, like, some people apparently can, like, take, like, someone will have to confirm or deny this for me, but I've heard that people can take in lower level characters and level through doing it, so you can get gil. Oh yeah, and the fragments, the blue fragments you get, are also selling really well. At least on Gilgamesh, they still are. And it's like, you're getting gil, you're getting a weapon, you're getting like so much perks. Oh yeah, and you're getting silver coins that can be traded for the baseline armors too. It's like, it's actually really rewarding, and it's new content. And in terms of the difficulties of the fights, I mean, I know a lot of people think that, like, they'd rather the fights be easier, and to me, I think that that's kind of fair, but at the same point in time, I think they're at just the right difficulty. It's just, like, I don't think I've wiped on a Delubrum Regine run in, like, probably, my god, 25-ish runs. Like, I have not wiped since, like, the second day in, like... And that's including, like, the thermal boss, where they're, like, increasing and decreasing the temperature. Like, it's very rare to wipe. I also have noticed that there is an uptick in people using essences. So, for anyone not familiar, that boosts your damage. Like, I'm often going in as a healer, like a scholar especially, because I can chain stratagem the boss, which buffs 24 other players' damage on the boss, as well as I'm using, like, Essence of the Aether Weaver, which gives me, like, basically double damage. Like, if you're using essences, you're gonna chunk the boss. It's gonna be crazy. So I don't think it's too bad, but I definitely think it needs multiple sittings. No doubt.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and about the essences, yeah, I've also been using those. I use one, I think it's called Bravery, so you can cast that on everyone in your party, and it gives them a 5% damage. And
oh yeah, that one's big.
Increase. Is it healing too? Damage and healing?
I think it's just damage. No, it's just damage.
Maybe.
But okay, yeah, 5%, like, that's an asp card on everyone, a permanent astrologian card. Like, it's good.
But yeah, like they are expensive though. Some of these things to get, but I mean, if you you have the gill and or if you have some of them from Bozjan, I highly recommend using them. It makes everyone's life so much easier.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And especially when you consider like how many you have to run of this, like 15 multiplied by 7, like that's 255. It's like using essences over 255, that'll save you hours of your life, literally.
Oh, absolutely.
But man, so that's all of our current steps. Like we're looking at more being added for 5.5. We don't know exactly the details. Apparently it might include like a new map, but like what are your overall thoughts on like the relic weapon? Not the armor at all, but the relic weapon right now. All these steps that we just went over. What are your overall impressions?
So for one, I like it. So for coming from World of Warcraft, a lot of like items, like the legendary items, are behind time gates. So for example, how the current legendaries are in WoW is you have to get this currency called Soul Ash to be able to craft the legendary. And you can only get a certain amount per week. So you know you have to basically just do it once a week, and then it'll take you, I think it's like two weeks or so to unlock it. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that.
Somewhere around that.
So here, I do like that it's not time gated. So like, yes, it takes a long time, but it's not time gated. So whenever you have time, you can just log in and do it. So let's say there's a week where you're super busy at work, you don't log in at all. That's fine. You don't lose anything. You can log in, you know, when you have time and just go ham and run Delirium Regine like 6 times in a day if you want. And at least you'll be getting something for every run that you do. So I do kind of like that.
Definitely. I have to agree. Like, you do have control over your relic progression. You, like, it's just like you said, it's just like if I take a week off of, like, doing the relic weapon, I'm not going to be, like, super far behind. Whereas if we aren't, like, in Torghast making me hate my life for a week, it's like, oh, wow, you're now behind on the legendary. You better hope that the next patch doesn't make a different legendary good.
yeah, exactly. Because it's with how much they've been changing those items in WoW, you kind of always want to be able to make one if they change it up.
Yeah, you always need to be able to jump.
But so, yeah, we're getting off topic now. Yeah. So my point was just like, yeah, I do like that it's not time gated, that, you know, you can kind of do it at your own pace. And the other thing is, like, I do think it's kind of just a fun way to just, like, unwind sometimes. Just throw on some music, just go, you know, blast with a couple Delirium Regines. So it's something that's fun to do. And I think it's content, and I think most people will enjoy it.
Yeah, I've been listening to so much Cardi B as I'm doing Delirium Regine. If you up, if we up, if we up. Sorry, I'm getting too stupid. People are gonna be like, wow, Cole's derpy. And I'm just like, you've only just noticed. But yeah, I have to agree with that, my god. Oh, what?
But yeah, no, I think I like the relic weapons. They look cool, and it's something that's fun and engaging to do. And I think it's also accessible to, you know, every player. It's not something you have to be like some hardcore ultimate raider to do.
Oh my god, exactly. And that's one thing that I really think is really healthy for the game, is giving solo casual players content that they can do. Hi, World of Warcraft. How are you? Oh, the call out. But I think that it's a really healthy thing, because it gives solo players something to strive for. It's just you made that point, and I'm like, I didn't even think of that. That's such a good point. Sorry.
I mean, that is true. I mean, and it's just a very different game. So in something like World of Warcraft, you absolutely need a guild, or at least a solid core of, like, you know, at least 4 other people to be able to do something like Mythic Plus at a high level. Whereas in 14, yeah, there is meaningful solo content, and you can actually unlock, you know, very good items just playing by yourself, which is different.
Yeah, you know, I didn't even think of that, but that's true. And I mean, you're getting a 5-slot weapon that is not best in slot. Like, we're not threatening Savage Raiders with this. I mean, we're not threatening me with this. Like, I'm feeling really comfortable with a relic weapon existing, knowing that I'm going to get a 535 weapon. This is 515 as we have it right now in this current rendition. Like, but it's still good. You can do really good numbers in leveling dungeons, expert dungeons, in Emerald Weapon Extremes, and Future Diamond Weapon Extreme. Like, you can do really good things with this weapon. I fully agree. That's such a good point, actually. But yeah, do you have any other points or thoughts on this?
No, I think I probably said everything that I need to say about it. Yeah, it's Yeah, I do like that this is an option. It's fun and they look good. So
Definitely. And then I'm just going to wrap up with my thoughts, I guess, on it, which I think is like, I'm really glad that the earlier steps are so rewarding and get people's foot in the door. Because I think that that's the biggest thing, is like making people feel inspired and positive about doing some form of content. Because who like, if this, let's say that you had to do the 5th step where you're grinding the like Void Arc and Ravenaster, would you like that as your first step? How would you feel if that was the first step?
yeah, I definitely wouldn't be as accessible as it is.
Yeah, I think it would have turned off a lot of players. So I think that it was really good. I'm also glad that like they did the hotfix to allow newer content, to basically allow people to not just have to like do older content, but like really enable like Castrum Satori. I just overall think that this relic weapon is really good because it's like you brought up like the solo content. Like I think that that is such an important thing, and I think that that's actually something that even I was just implicitly overlooking. But yeah, like it's super good, and I think that especially with the newer content being involved in it, like the Castrum with the Delubrium Regine, where it has new unique mechanics involved in these fights, I think that it is such a positive experience, especially to a solo player, because it makes them feel like they're really working towards something. But like, also, as we said kind of like at one of the earlier steps, is it's like you can work towards multiple goals. Like I'm not just working the weapon, but I am also working towards leveling a character. I'm also working towards Gil, because as a newer player, like you're basically winning the lottery if you get the Gabriel Alpha. Like 6 million Gil just pop into your inventory. Like as a newer player, that's huge. That's 2 small houses. Like that's actually letting you be competitive in the housing market. Like I think that's such an advantage. And likewise, the weapons look good. I mean, item levels fade, but glamour is forever.
That is true. As you know, glamour is the true end game.
Glamour is the true end game, as is housing. Because those never fade. It's like, oh god. Whereas like my best in slot for like last tier is irrelevant now.
You know what? At least you know what those. I bet it looks good. So, at least.
Not really.
No.
It's okay.
Fair.
It's okay.
Okay.
Like I'll keep my Heavensward glam over it any day, and it's just like Heavensward was like 6 years ago or something now. It's crazy to think about, but it's like I still love that bow. Glamorous forever.
I regret not playing back then. You know, I went through that expansion. It looks so cool. Everything about Heavensward.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Especially
Except the Moogles. I don't like them.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Oh god. Rels, Vigar, and Shiva.
Oh,
better love story than Twilight.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, in terms of relics, I think that they're at a healthy place, and I think that like going forward, I'm actually looking forward to like 5.5 and seeing new maps and new adventures. The weapons, honestly, I'm really excited for them. I'm gonna have to take this last step a little slower because it takes so long, but I see myself totally doing it. It's not like if the 5th step I had to do for every weapon where I'd be like, oh, we're only doing 4. But I think that as it is right now, it's really fair. And yeah, what are you currently thinking for the relic weapons? Are you thinking just the red mage and white mage then, or stopping, or looking at maybe Ast since you're the pure healer of our raid?
Well, yeah, it really depends on just how much time I have. So I'm definitely like I've already done the white mage. I'm definitely going to do the red mage because I'm about halfway there. And then I don't know. We'll just see how many I. Honestly, I'll just do however many I can do until like Shadow what Endwalker comes.
Endwalker.
Yes. Shadowbringers is the current one, yes.
Luke Skywalker, Luke Endwalker. I am your father.
Yeah, so until Endwalker comes out, I'll just be like working on that just kind of casually because, I mean, that's what I like about 14. You can just log in and you can kind of just do stuff.
Exactly, that is so true.
It's meaningful.
Exactly.
They're actually like powerful items. It's not like, I guess World of Warcraft you can grind like Anima, which will give you like a little cosmetic. It doesn't give you any power at all, so it's just not the same.
Oh, and it's so grindy. Oh god.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Meaningful progression. Yeah. My goodness. Oh my god. Do you want this fairy backpack? Oh wow. Well, you better like the 5th step of this because that fairy backpack is going to cost you hours of soul-sucking grinding to get, but we digress.
You can be a pretty little Volpera with a fairy backpack. And
I know. And just go into PvP and taunt people to death. Just like have a Volpera with a trolley fairy backpack, and then they like unfurl their wings and like hee. as you like kill them. It's so stupid.
Like, I am so pretty. Combust, dead.
Yeah, exactly. You enter your combust window, and I just have like buffed you with power infusion and the Night Fae ability. Just
Exactly.
But that backpack's gonna cause life.
Oh.
But yeah, relics.
Yeah, I do like the relics where they are in Final Fantasy 14. I think it's a very interesting and rewarding system, and yeah, overall, I think it's fair, and it's pretty fun.
I'm glad that
man, 18 Royal City of Rabanastra runs. Oh, that was gross.
one time, only once.
At least only once.
Yeah, exactly. If it was more than once, even I'm only getting 4 weapons. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that's. I don't have anything else left to say. At least on the weapons, I have a lot to say on the armors, though. Do you have anything to say on the weapons?
No, I think we pretty much. Yeah, I've said everything that I need to say about that.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, yeah, so thank you everyone for tuning in, and if you made it to the end, honestly, thank you so much for the support. Like, seriously, like, we're just trying new styles of content, and we just hope that, like, you guys like it, and honestly, as always, like, cat daddy that subscribe button, but also, like, seriously, like, that like button, let us know if you like this, or what we could do to improve it, because we're always here to, like, at the end of the day, like, help the community and serve the community, so let us know how we can improve, and, like, better like serve you guys and like make things better, or like maybe provide new different insights. Like let me know in the comments, because I am reading them. But yeah, thank you, Neymett.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the channel, Cole. Always good to talk to you.
Always good talking and trolling with you.
Yeah,
but
I'm
yeah,
new to talking on camera. I don't know if you can tell. All right.
oh my god, this would be so much easier. Like, I don't think anyone watching this video is going to appreciate, like, we actually know each other in real life for like what, like 10 years now, and it's like it would be so much easier to do this like with like a frenemies podcast, like pizza in front of us and 2 microphones in person, because it's like I can't like see all the facial gestures, and like if he's just like, what the heck?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I said absolutely a million times. Like, absolutely. I feel really
Absolutely.
Yeah, people are gonna meme me. That's gonna be my Neymett phrase. Absolutely.
Dude, that's what I say all the time. Trust me. People meme me for it. They're gonna be like, absolutely. I try and like avoid that word like the plague, because it's like absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and yeah, let us know if you like it, and I hope you do. And yeah, also, like, aside from that, like, what relic weapons are you going for? Or do you think the relic weapon right now is, like, fair? What are you looking forward to? But yeah, as always, if you slam a cat daddy on that like button, and cat daddy that subscribe button, yeah. Or do you want to say cat daddy that subscribe button just to close?
Yeah, sure. Smash that like button and cat daddy that subscribe button. Make his channel grow.
Oh my god. Yes, please. Oh my gosh. But anyhow, that's all for this video. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care and be safe.
Peace out.